Just so. But even things not there have weight. Negative weight, which is the worst kind. Weight lifted from you must go somewhere else. It's simple physics. Psychic physics, we could say. Streeter studied Elvid with fascination. That momentary impression that the man was taller, and that there were too many teeth inside his smile, had gone. This was just a short, rotund fellow who probably had a green outpatient card in his wallet, if not from Juniper Hill, then from Acadia Mental Health in Bangor. If he had a wallet. He certainly had an extremely well-developed delusional geography, and that made him a fascinating study. Can I cut to the chase, Mr. Streeter? Please. You have to transfer the weight. In words of one syllable, you have to do the dirty to someone else if the dirty is to be lifted from you. I see. And he did. Elvid was back on message, and the message was a classic. But it can't be just anyone. The old anonymous sacrifice has been tried, and it doesn't work. It has to be someone you hate. Is there someone you hate, Mr. Streeter? I'm not too crazy about Kim Jong-il, Streeter said. And I think jail's way too good for the evil bastards who blew up the USS Cole, but I don't suppose they'll ever. Be serious or be gone, Elvid said, and once again he seemed taller. Streeter wondered if this could be some peculiar side effect of the medications he was taking. If you mean in my personal life, I don't hate anyone. There are people I don't like. Mrs. Denbrough next door puts out her garbage cans without the lids, and if a wind is blowing, crap ends up all over my lawn. If I may misquote the late Dino Martino, Mr. Streeter, everybody hates somebody sometime. Will Rogers said. He was a rope-twirling fabricator who wore his hat down around his eyes like a little kid playing cowboy. Besides, if you really hate nobody, we can't do business. Streeter thought it over. He looked down at his shoes and spoke in a small voice he hardly recognized as his own. I suppose I hate Tom Goodhue. Who is he in your life? Streeter sighed. My best friend since grammar school. There was a moment of silence before Elvid began bellowing laughter. He strode around his card table, clapped Streeter on the back, with a hand that felt cold and fingers that felt long and thin rather than short and pudgy, then strode back to his folding chair. He collapsed into it, still snorting and roaring. His face was red, and the tears streaming down his face also looked red, bloody, actually, in the sunset light. Your best. Since grammar. Oh, that's. Elvid could manage no more. He went into gales and howls and gut-shaking spasms, his chin, strangely sharp for such a chubby face, nodding and dipping at the innocent, but darkening, summer sky. At last he got himself under control. Streeter thought about offering his handkerchief, and decided he didn't want it on the extension salesman's skin. "This is excellent, Mr. Streeter," he said. "We can do business." "Gee, that's great," Streeter said, taking another step back. "I'm enjoying my extra 15 years already. But I'm parked in the bike lane, and that's a traffic violation. I could get a ticket." "I wouldn't worry about that," Elvid said. "As you may have noticed, not even a single civilian car has come along since we started dickering, let alone a minion of the Derry PD. Traffic never interferes when I get down to serious dealing with a serious man or woman, I see to it." Streeter looked around uneasily. It was true. He could hear traffic over on Witcham Street, headed for Up Mile Hill, but here, Derry was utterly deserted. Of course, he reminded himself, traffic's always light over here when the working day is done. But absent? Completely absent? You might expect that at midnight, but not at 7:30 p.m.